Let me know if you can hear me. Hello. Yes. Okay. It should be working. I have no clue where my speakers are. I don't know where they at. Lord, I pray that they pop up. Good evening, everyone. Listen, you guys have 4 seconds to subscribe. If you guys want to type in the chat, y'all got to subscribe. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. So it's good to be here. I'm so excited because a lot of people have been requesting a live. So I'm going to ask the questions, and then everybody else in the chat, you guys have the answers. That way it doesn't fall back on me if y'all are being messy. I'm just bringing you the news as to what's been going on in the HBCU world basically since Saturday. I'm going to update you. So we have a poll in the chat because we're going to talk about this. And so I wanted to already get your thoughts. And that is, of course, yesterday with the opening of the transfer portal, Coach Tremaine Jackson, the new head coach of Prairie View A&M, set some rules and some guidelines. And that's why this live is titled "You Got 4 Hours." And so I basically asked, do you think that it's a little bit much? What are your thoughts? Do you think that Coach Tremaine Jackson's rules for the transfer portal athletes go overboard? The choices are yes, no. These young men need discipline. So in other words, like, I don't see anything wrong with it. Or is it great bulletin board material? because y'all folks cut up with these rules. It actually went viral and it got outside of the HBCU space. So later on, I'm going to bring up all of those rules and we're going to discuss them. I will say this, a lot of times the way that coaches bring up their team is it's different for each team, right? I can set an example of that. How Deion Sanders ran his team at Jackson State was applauded, right? Versus when he went to Colorado, some folks was like, who does he think he's talking to? Yes, Miss Natasha, I agree. We need Mr. Ford's take on that. Uh-oh. JB said it's bulletin board material. That's exactly what it is. So we're going to go over those rules. And, but I wanted to start out, of course, as always, we're just going to talk about some hot topics. And I have bookmarked a couple of them that I was able to find. We're going to start with the WNBA. There are a couple of young ladies who played in the HBCU realm, and they have elevated to the beginning steps of the WNBA. So congratulations, of course, to Zay Green. She was the 3rd round, 7th pick, 32nd overall. She was drafted by the Washington Mystics. Now, Zay Green played at the UAPB Lions with Coach Don Thornton, and then Coach Don Thornton moved to Alabama A&M, and Zay Green committed to Alabama. What they say? All exposure is good exposure? What do you guys think? I feel like sometimes Black households and how we talk to, not necessarily all Black households, but how they instill discipline into their children or what type of program they would want to see their children in is probably different than non-melanated households in terms of how these coaches run their program. So congratulations, of course, to Zay Green. So she is I want to say, is she the 2nd or the 3rd? I want to say 3rd. So this is the 3rd HBCU WNBA player drafted. So we had, of course, we had Angel Jackson. She was drafted to the Aces. And then we also had another young lady from Jackson State. I want to say that was that 4 years ago? Amisha. She was drafted. Right? I think so. Lord. One of the ones that, they were highly touting and expecting to get drafted was Diamond Johnson from Norfolk State. Yeah, she was getting drafted regardless. She came from Tennessee. The scouts came to watch her play while at UAPB. It ain't because she left UAPB. Okay. So they're saying that she was going to always get drafted. So, kudos. I also want to bring up another young lady. Both of these young women left after their coaches left. They decided to go to a different school. So the next one that we have, of course, is Tilly Bowler. She didn't get drafted, but she did get signed to the WNBA Chicago Sky. Tilly was off the chain at Jackson State. And no doubt in my mind, she probably would have gotten drafted had she stayed at Jackson State. I mean, she played really good against UConn. Bowler, she played at Memphis last season after 4 at Jackson State. She's 6'1". She averages a career best of 16.6 points for Memphis last season while shooting 37% from the three-point range. The Sky picked up guard Haley Van Lith, Aja Shavaka. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. And then they signed, of course, Tilly to the training camp. It's the WNBA. The way that this stuff goes, though, is it's really, really hard to make it. Thank you, Amisha Williams Holiday. That's her name. I knew her name was Amisha, but so congratulations, of course, to Tilly Bowler. So here's the thing with the WNBA. Good Lord. They oftentimes don't have that many roster spots, and a lot of the vets, they don't retire, they stay in it. They don't retire. And so, it makes it hard for people to be able, rookies, they'll be cutting like even the best players coming out of college sometimes don't make the roster. So we're just going to have to see, but we're going to definitely be rooting for them. So let me read you a little bit about Zay Green's stats. So Zay Green's journey to the pros just reached a new milestone on Monday night. The dynamic Alabama guard was selected number 32 overall by the Washington Mystics in the 2025 WNBA draft, becoming the 15th player in Crimson Tide women's basketball history to be drafted into the league. Green, known for her strength, length, versatility, and rebounding ability, made a strong impression during her time in Tuscaloosa. Dang, they're over here talking about Green now becomes a part of exclusive Alabama legacy. Alabama is pushing Miss Zay hard, but UAPB can claim her as well. So, that's what happens. Sometimes these students, they don't stay at their prospective schools. And let me see if Diamond has signed with anybody. Maybe she at least got an invite. I see a lot of folks that said Diamond Johnson was not taken in WNBA draft. Social media reacts to the insanity. So I see a lot of stuff on here in terms of her needing to be drafted. But the only thing that I'm missing is I don't see that she's signed to a team as of right now. I'm looking and I do not see anything on here. There's only 38 WNBA draft slots available. So it's not like there's a huge amount available. They did say that Diamond Johnson's statistics were above Green's and other draftees by averaging 18.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 3.3 steals per game during the 2024-2025 season. So we'll just have to see. Yeah, they did say she was a little undersized. Tilly Bowler did play for Jackson State. And we already had, yeah. Tilly Bowler did play for Jackson State. And I have no have no doubt in my mind that had she, I'm not going to say if she had stayed, I'm saying that her play versus UConn alone was talked about, even in her drafting process. When you look at it, they link back to the time when she played at Jackson State. Yeah, those WNB. I want to say Tarasi is just now retiring. So they do have some teams that they are expanding. I want to say Valkyrie and a couple of others that they're starting. So that will open up some more roster spots. But yes, so congratulations to those ladies. Let's see. I want to say that I have an update on some of these NFL draft picks. I want to say I have some updates for you guys. That's our next topic. And that's, of course, Carson Vincent. He's the offensive tackle at Alabama A&M. Listen, you guys, I am really optimistic about this year's draft for HBCU players. And when I say HBCU players, I mean literally drafting from an HBCU. We already know that there's a couple of folks that will be drafted that went to an HBCU and left and went to a different school, that they will be drafted. But this year we have a very high probability that one or two players could really be drafted directly from HBCUs. And so I'm going to share that with you. So this happened, let me see the date on this. This is April 15th. So this would have happened on April 14th. Yesterday, the Ravens hosted Alabama A&M tackle Carson Vincent on a top 30 visit. This is real, y'all. And this is NFL guy, film analysis, Ravens flock. And, you know, they always are sharing little tidbits of possible draft picks and who's going where. Of course, this is a video of him at the Senior Bowl going against possible first round draft pick Shamar Stewart, who, by the way, had less than 7 tackles in the whole season, but he ranks 10 out of 10 for his relative athletic score. But this is, of course, Carson Vincent, and you can see him up against the first round draft pick Shamar Stewart. So yes, he was on a top 30 visit. Yes. We're going to talk about the transfer portal. All right. I have another announcement to make, y'all. Another announcement. Michael Clark, you're going to have to drop the name of the student so I can look him up. All right. So breaking news from Aaron Wilson. Of course, Aaron Wilson, NFL. He covers the NFL He previously worked for the Houston Chronicle and the Baltimore Suns. Aaron Wilson says that Jackson State strong safety Robert McDaniel had a private workout with the Commanders on Monday on campus with coaching staff, per a league source. Okay, Robert McDaniel. They flew to Jackson, Mississippi to go to Jackson State campus to do a private workout. They spin the block. Let's spin the block on McDaniel and go look him out. Check him out. Mind you, this particular workout that took place. This is after the private dinner that they had right around his pro day. He had a private dinner with the Washington Commanders. So now they're spinning the block on him on Monday. You know, draft day is we're probably, when is the NFL draft? Next week? In the next couple of days? When is it? When is it? Not you spinning the block going to Jackson, Mississippi. Did y'all stop at Johnny T's? Next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If you guys want me to do a draft-a-thon, let me know. See, okay, so here's the problem. I want to do a draft-a-thon. I did it, I want to say the year Isaiah Bolden got drafted. I did it. I don't know. They might flag my ass this year. They flag me. I don't know. I want to do one, though. Just because, of course, you know, we're going to have some folks that we're going to have quite a few folks coming off those boards. And then we're going to have a couple coming directly from HBCUs. You're going to be bored. That Saturday draft, like 5 hours long. No, Mike James, we're going to watch the first day. You know, Travis and Shador coming off the boards on the first day. You know, Shador and them coming off the boards. I'm going to have to go watch and see how I did it the last time because I didn't get flagged the last time. You're going to be bored. I don't know about you, but I'm not bored when I see the possibility of a Jackson State. I mean, it was long as hell. It was very long, but I enjoyed, you know, watching it, especially seeing Isaiah Bolden finally get drafted. Good Lord, that did take a long ass time. But when I say that things are heating up, to see that the Washington Commanders have taken so much interest into Robert McDaniel, the strong safety, they spin the block on Monday. They had a private workout with him, they had a private workout on Monday, private dinner during his pro day. Very impressed with him at the HBCU Combine. He was on the Senior Bowl watch list prior to leaving Alcorn to Jackson State. Y'all, I'm very high up. And he's not the only one. Let me see. Irv Mulligan. And I can't show you guys the actual footage, but I'll copy and paste it. And the reason why I'm going to copy and paste it is because I got flagged. It wasn't as flagged, but it was basically the NFL Network. And it appears that Irv Mulligan's footage has been shown several different times on several different like games and stuff, like in between. So they basically flagged it. So that's good that he's being shown. But he did have an interview recently with Steve Weish. He joined the Insiders, and it's about 7 minutes long. I'm going to copy and paste that so you can see it. And then I have a couple more players to talk about. So that's the interview for NFL Insiders with Irv Mulligan. And he's just basically having an interview talking about overcoming adversity, how he's a good running back, and what it's going to take to translate all of his greatness over to the NFL, and how great it is to be able to basically, he has more rushing yards than the famous running back Walter Payton, and he talked about how Walter Payton was his idol. Okay, let's see who else I have on here. Yay, Mr. Ford. We've been waiting to hear from you. Merlin, you're late. If you're late, you get put in timeout. You're not here on time, you get put in timeout. Everybody except for Mr. Ford. Everybody else get put in timeout. All right, so Jared Hunter, he is, let me get his information. He had a local pro day invite. Now it says it has the Washington Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens on there, but I'm thinking that he is in the Baltimore area, so let's look him up. Hey, Mr. Ford.
Hey, Mr. Mona, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. How you doing? I'm doing good.
I'm good. So we're just going over some of the updates for the HBCU draft watch list. And Jared Hunter is a 5'10", 205 senior from Howard University. He's a running back. He had 163 carries for 737 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he averaged 4.5 yards per carry. So yeah, he had a local pro day invite. He's been invited to 2 of the local pro days, Ravens and Commanders. They're really high on some HBCU players, Mr. Ford.
Oh, okay. You listen. You know, the history of HBCU players is all they need is an opportunity. That's all they need.
Right. So I don't know if you heard, but Carson Vincent, the Alabama A&M offensive tackle, he was basically invited to a top 30 visit with the Ravens.
Oh, okay. All right.
The Baltimore Ravens.
That's a good organization.
That's exactly what Lamar needs, right?
Yeah, that would be great. That's the one brother is the coach of the Chargers, the other brother is the coach with the Ravens. They 2 good coaches. Now, when I was in college, their coach was the coach at Western Kentucky, and his quarterback was Willie Taggart. And they used to play Tennessee State. Yeah. John Harbaugh, that coach. Yeah.
So, Mr. Ford, I also wanted to recognize Elijah Williams. He's a Morgan State defensive end. He received an invite from the Baltimore Ravens as well to showcase at NFL Local Pro Day.
I hope he makes it. I like him. I hope he makes
it. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Mr. Ford, the draft is next weekend.
Yeah. You know, I watch it. I watch the draft. I've been watching the draft for years. I remember when it wasn't televised, and we'd hear about it, and we'd read the AJC, and they would have it by rounds. And I've been watching the draft for years.
So we're going to have a lot of folks signing, of course, but signing to rosters. But this year, I really think that we have the possibility of drafting 2 HBCU players, and that will set the reset button on all this like fodder about not going to HBCU. You can't get drafted there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. But now let
So
me tell you
I'm
this:
excited.
we have always, even if we didn't get drafted, the HBCU would put people in as free agents, and they would do well. You remember Emerson Walls? Do you remember Emerson
No, Mr.
Walls?
Ford, tell me about Emerson. Tell me about Emerson Walls.
Yeah, Emerson was from Dallas, Texas. Went to Grambling State University. Was not drafted, and went to the Dallas Cowboys. Started. Should hopefully he's in the NFL. If he's not, he should be in there. Um, Went to the Dallas Cowboys, played for them for years, and then went to the I want to say the New York Giants. Eventually, there was a guy, running back, who
He
ran with
just
Tony
says
Dorsett.
Cowboys.
Yeah, he was with the Cowboys, and I believe he was with the Giants. But he gave a kidney to Ron Springs. Ron Springs was a fullback. Tony Dorsett was a tailback. Later on in his life, he needed a kidney. Uh, Everson Walls gave him a kidney.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
He
but
won a Super
Everson,
Bowl.
yeah, he was super. He was a guy. He was a guy. Everson. I think it was Everson Walls, something like that.
I'm just excited to see it this year just because and maybe it's just HBCU podcasters that are always making those outlandish statements about, oh, we should have had somebody drafted. Oh, the FCS is dead. You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
no HBCU players were drafted last year, but we had tons that were signed to camps and signed. I'm very optimistic that we're going to have a minimum of 2 players that are drafted directly from HBCUs, and then we have 2 to 3 players who went to an HBCU and then they transferred. We know that they're going to get drafted as well.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. But Mr. Ford, I'm so glad that you're here.
Yeah.
Because now I get to ask you the questions and you know, and you get to answer the question.
Right.
And I'm free from everything, right? Because I'm just asking what you think about it.
Okay.
So chat, where should we start first? Should we start with some of the transfer portal names? Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to a former Jackson State quarterback who recently signed to Clark Atlanta Panthers. Did you see it, Mr. Ford?
No, who was that? No.
Right.
Huh?
Zai McDonald. Zai.
He signed with Clark?
Yep.
He's gonna do well. He's gonna love Teddy Keaton's system. He's gonna love Teddy Keaton's system.
I said, ooh. Ooh, y'all got a winner.
Yes, we did. We got a winner.
Is huge. This is huge for Teddy Keaton to be able to, he lost David Wright, right? And that was a huge loss. When he filed some type of waiver. Apparently he played way too many games when he was injured, so they denied his waiver. And so he didn't have any more eligibility.
Hey, let me ask this question. Brother Ruben, are you talking about Walter Dean from Grambling? Are you talking about Walter Dean from Grambling? If you're talking about Walter Dean from Grambling, not only did I know him, I knew his mother. His mother worked on campus. Yeah, I knew his mother. When I was at Grambling, my job was to drive around the Queens to football games and the basketball games. And his mother worked in the Office of Student Affairs, I believe. And yes, I met his mother. I saw him when he was in high school. They played, I have to ask Brother Hunt, it was called Watchita Christian. And they had a quarterback that was a big-time quarterback. And he went against Walter Dean. And that kid ended up going to I want to say he went to BYU, but he didn't really do the great things at BYU. It's Saul Graves or something like that. I have to ask Brother Hunt, does he remember Saul Graves? Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is this transfer portal, Mr. Ford. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
It's been going crazy.
We getting some good players for HBCU football.
It's so bad that they had that, folks are entering the transfer portal, and even folks from Southern are entering the transfer portal. That's how bad it is, Mr. Ford.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, that's what they're doing now. The kids now, after 4 years, they play for 4 schools. I'm not surprised.
So, we have a fan transfer portal application, Mr. Ford, from Mr. Ladarius Arsenault. He's affiliated with Southern University, but he said that he has an intent to change from Southern to either FAMU, Jackson State, or Tuskegee. And his reason for leaving Southern as a fan is because AD Banks and the current losing streak versus Jackson State University. What do you think about him wanting to leave being a Southern fan because of AD Banks? And what are they going to do about this losing streak for Jackson State versus football? Like, what are they going to do about that?
Well, let me just say this about AD Banks. I'm not a fan of his. Now, the basketball is really looking good. Coach Funches and I think that's Coach Johnson. They're doing great. See, when I was at Grambling, when I was a student at Grambling, Southern won in everything. Southern won in football. Football might have been the weakest at the time I was at Grambling. They won in basketball. They won in baseball. They won in track and field. And so he's got to up his game. He's got to up his game. I make the argument about AD Banks that he destroyed that football program and he cannot rebuild it back. As far as leaving, you called out Tuskegee. Tuskegee's got problems. Who doesn't? You said Tuskegee, and who are the other people? He said he's
FAMU.
Okay, well,
FAMU, Jackson State.
Well, let me say this about Jackson State. Jackson State got enough people on their bandwagon right now. They don't need no more people on their bandwagon. Everybody's for Jackson State, okay? They don't need nobody on their bandwagon, okay? They got enough people running behind them, even over here in Atlanta, people pushing Jackson State. So now here's the thing about FAMU. Okay, some people got real upset with me because of a conversation I had with you. And I told you that I thought that Jackson State was 2 years ahead of everybody. I got some really good friends from FAMU who's real upset with me. One of them texted me and said, how could they be 2 years ahead of us when we led them the whole game until the last 4 minutes? And I said, I understand that, but listen, I just don't see nobody being able to touch Jackson State this year. I'm sorry about it, but I don't. I see you.
Mr. Ford, you can't be over here making these folks mad.
Yeah, they got mad at me about that. They did. They said they don't understand why I get this. Jackson State is 2 years ahead of everybody. But now, listen. Let me say this right here. Y'all going back to the what I call that winning formula of that Jackson State program now is based on Mississippi athletes. See, that's how it was when I was at Grambling. W.C. Gordon's program, he was in contact with all them small towns in Mississippi, and he'd bring them small town kids to Jackson, and they would flourish. They would do well. And that's what Coach T.C. Taylor's going back to, and that's why I think this is going to be a dynasty. But now let me tell you something. I'm thrilled about what's going on out there at Prairie View. And I believe this guy when he says he don't want to just be swag good. I think he wants to be, a top 10 or top 20 program in FCS, and I think he's going to get there. I really do.
Well, it's interesting that you should say that, Mr. Ford, that he doesn't want to just be swag good. He wants
he don't want to be swag good. He wants to be top. He want to be top 10 or top 20 in the FCS, and I think he's going to get there. I like everything that guy's talking about.
Well,
Merlin, you're right. Listen, you're right. That's all it is right now. Everything is talk. You're right, but that's why I'm looking forward to next season. Because
he said everything is talk. Everything is
yeah,
not talk. You can literally look
he
at
said Tremaine is all talk, but we gonna see now. Now let me say this: he can't play Jackson this year. He ain't ready for Jackson State this year. No, he ain't ready for him. We know that. Okay, I really don't think nobody ready for Jackson this year. And like I tell everybody, if Jackson State beats Southern Miss, everybody's ass is grass. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, all right, because hey, if Southern Miss don't stop them, I don't know who's gonna stop them. I really don't.
Wait a minute, Mr. Ford.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's not ready. He's not ready for us for Jackson State yet.
No, he ain't ready yet. Not yet. I looked at Alabama A&M. They not ready either. I looked at them this summer. I think they can be competitive this year, but no, they not ready for that Jackson State smoke. Not yet. I don't think nobody is. You know, I wasn't just saying that when I said I thought they was 2 years ahead of everybody. I wasn't just talking. Okay, so
Mr. Ford, they asked, was that Miss Betty Dean that you knew?
Yeah, Miss Dean. Yeah, she worked in the Office of Student Affairs. Yeah, I met her. That was years ago. Yeah, I remember. My job was to drive around the Queens. I drove the van. I would drive them to the games, and then even during the basketball season, I drove them to games. You know, that was my job.
Okay, Mr. Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so glad that you brought up
hey, Miss Whitley.
Prairie View's coach, his head coach.
Yeah.
He went viral yesterday, Mr. Ford.
This was Coach
Mr. Atlanta. He went viral, Mr. Ford.
This Mr. Coach Tremaine.
Yes, he went viral, and it caused a big debate, and that is his rules of engagement for the transfer portal. So we're gonna go through
something about rules. That. I thought I saw something. Did you post something about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Posted, and I said, "What do y'all think about it?" So I'm gonna read them one by one to you,
okay.
And I want to hear what you think about it. All right. Okay. So these are Tremaine. This is like Bobby Brown. This is his prerogative.
Right.
So you know that's how coaches are. They all got their stuff. So number one is when I follow you, there's a 4-hour window to follow back, or we done.
I ain't got no problem with that. I ain't got no problem with that. Yeah, this man, listen, this guy is about what we call, he about business. This man about business. That man ain't got time to be playing with nobody. Yeah. Yeah, I ain't got
Send
no problem
me your number.
Yeah, he is about business. These folks ain't playing.
Highlight in the first message.
Yeah,
that's the first message. We're not playing.
No, they ain't playing. These folks ain't got time for no BS. They not doing it.
Make sure you address my staff as coach and not bro or by first last name.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. What's wrong? I don't have no problem with that.
Me for no NIL, which we do have, when PFF has you as taking less than 200 snaps on the year.
Oh, I love that. You should have
gotten your money from them. Now it's time to play.
Okay, see what this guy telling you right here. He wants starters from the FBS. That's what this guy wants. He wants starters. He ain't trying to get bench and what they call gray shirt, what you call that red shirt and all that. He wants starters. He wants people who played at Ole Miss and now they decide they come to Prairie View. They started at right tackle at Ole Miss. That's what he wants. See, you know that's about right there, right? That's about him saying when you go against Jackson State, he got to match what Jackson State got. That's why I told you about what that Alcorn guy said. That Cedric Thomas said he had to revamp his entire program because he realized once they did the metrics, he was at every position, he was 3 inches too short, he was 28 pounds too light. Okay, when you start this stuff and talking about you don't want them to have taken less than 200 snaps, you saying you want starters from the FBS. You don't want just bench players and red shirts and blue shirts and all of that. He wants starters.
Not blue shirts, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, he don't want none of them folk. He wants starters. He wants starters. I ain't got no problem with that.
But he said you should have gotten your money from them. Now it's time to play. Don't be come over in my inbox talking about NIL.
And by the way, I'm so happy. Listen, I'm so happy Tennessee didn't fall from that extortion from their quarterback. Okay, they was gonna give him $2 million. No, he didn't want $2 million. He wanted $4 million. I was so glad they didn't fall for that. Oh, and now they're saying it was all his daddy. So it's his daddy's idea.
Sometimes parents will be the downfall.
Yes, you talking about greedy? That's greedy. Oh, I'm so glad they told him that. You know, they told him kick rocks,
players are getting paid.
Pack your bags and go back to the West Coast or wherever you can go. I was so glad, and I don't even keep up with them folks, but that was ridiculous.
I don't think that. I really don't, Mr. Ford. I really don't think that these folks are making as much money as they say. Everybody's trying to top everybody.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, one thing I've always told you, I love the transfer portal. I do, because what it did for HBCU football was it put us in contact with an athlete we hadn't been able to touch in almost 40 years. Okay, we hadn't been able to get that kind of athlete. Because we talking about this draft right now. Let me tell you who just made so many dumb decisions. You remember that kid Malachi Weiss? Wasn't it Malachi Weissman? What was his name? He's a wide receiver.
Weidman.
Oh, he made so many dumb decisions. He should be in this draft right here. All he had to do is stay at Jackson State. He just, he wasn't ready. Then he jumped up and turned pro. And if he just listened to somebody. But he should be in this draft.
I think some of Weidman was also like the Deion Sanders fallout.
Yeah, I think it was too.
Kids that were crushed by Deion Sanders leaving because
no doubt about it.
They could have played elsewhere, right?
Yeah, they could have stayed at Jackson. They could have stayed at Jackson.
I'm talking about before they even got there. They could have.
Okay.
Like for instance, there's some players that could have been playing at Alabama or elsewhere. They could have played a million other places. They could have taken the NIL money. They could have, there's so many different places that they could have taken. And they bought into this come play for your people, and this is bigger than an NIL deal. This is bigger than, it's bigger than that. Yeah. And so then Deion Sanders gave that boy the cold shoulder, honey.
Well, he's a user.
It went from Malachi Weidman to Travis Hunter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and they might have said that he had some other stuff going on, but Yeah,
I hate it. You remember he instead of, concentrating on his books, concentrating on his weightlifting, he jumped up and played basketball. Do you remember that? I thought that was a mistake. You don't remember that? It wasn't the present coach. It was the guy who was the high school coach in Jackson. What was his name? Not this coach you have now for the men's basketball coach. What was the guy's name before him?
Oh, I don't know, Mr. Ford.
He was from a high school in Jackson. Hey guys, who was the head men's basketball coach at Jackson before the guy they got now? What was his name?
Brent.
Yeah,
Coach Brent.
Coach Brent. What was his last name? Because he had come from a high school in Jackson.
That is his last name, Coach Brent.
Oh, Coach Brent. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he played a year for that guy, and I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah,
that's right. He was at Callaway. That's him. Yeah, he
Wayne
goes.
Brent.
Thank you, Jeremiah
Wayne
Clark.
Brent.
Right. His name was Wayne Brent. That's him. Yeah, that's right. That's him.
Yeah, he retired.
Right. Yeah. Malachi played a year for him. Malachi played a year for him. Played a year basketball. He was, because Malachi had a outstanding vertical. He could really jump. He could jump out this world.
So let's finish these different rules of engagement, Mr. Ford. This coach is not playing. He's got a couple more rules.
Oh yeah. What's the next?
Pray, talk to your family, your girlfriend, your dog, and any other people before we offer you. Not after you take 80 visits. I'm gonna want to know ASAP. We look forward to speaking with you soon. Go Gibbs.
Yeah.
He sounds like, to me, he sounds like this is Death Row Records over here.
He's about business. This man is old school. He ain't about all that foolishness.
You better get right or you're gonna get left.
Yeah, that man's old school. He's business.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
No, in the words of nephew, Julanta.
Yeah, it's something else.
So here's my take on it. So the first one was, you only have 4 hours to follow me after I follow you back. Right. That's a little bit much because there's a lot of stuff that can happen in 4 hours.
Like, if it's a priority, if it's a priority, you'll get it done. That's what he's letting you know.
You're in class.
Listen, if he's gonna make you a priority, then you got to make him a priority. So I like that. This guy's a matter of fact guy. He ain't doing all that playing and stuff. And see, this guy's for real. I'm telling you, this guy.
I agree that students should enjoy their recruiting process, but we talk about transfer portal students, and we all know some of these folks will take a million gazillion visits, get a million gazillion pictures, and they don't sign nobody. They don't commit to nobody because they're harping on going on all these visits, taking all of these photos, and when they circle back around, the scholarship that was available for them is gone. I see some folks now who keep on talking about how Jackson State offered them, and you look at when Jackson State offered them, it was last season. Why are you still promoting that you got an offer from Jackson State and you're in the portal and you still talking about Jackson State offered me, and you over here taking a visit and you have all these visits and all these pictures from different schools and you haven't commit to not one school? So for me, they said that there's over 11,000 kids in the portal, Mr. Ford. At this point, there's over 11,000.
Yeah, I think I heard something like that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At this point, schools right now have the competitive advantage in terms of bargaining, right? They have the bargaining chip. There's 11,000. If you don't want to come over here, I'm going to just go to the next person and the next person. There's 11,000 folks in here. Not everybody's going to make a roster. So at this point, I get to be choosy on who I offer a scholarship to.
And don't forget, this is good for us as HBCU. If it's 11,000 people in there, all we got to do is do our due diligence, do our research, and we can pick some really good players to bring to the SWAC. This is all good for us. This is good for us.
So Brianna says that some players that are entering into the transfer portal, that they have more eyes on them, right? Because some of them are JUCO students that had really good years, or they gained their stars after exiting out of these schools. And that they're getting more looks as high school students and that they should enjoy that process. of
Well, now the
getting
only thing with
recruited.
that, Miss Simona, listen, the people even in the FCS and the FBS right now, high school has gone down the ladder. The junior colleges and the transfers from FBS and FCS Division II, they've gone up the ladder. Okay, you got a lot of schools now. They're saying you got 20, give me 14 from the transfer portal, maybe six from the high school. So it's really competitive now. You're going to see a lot of outstanding high school players. They're going to have to go junior college.
Right.
Okay, now they're going to have to go Division II. Because these people, like he told you, you said it the other day, which I agree with. He said this is a 21 and up club. I can understand it. He wants experienced people because he want to win. He not trying to build, taking 4 and 5 years to build a program. He want outstanding players now.
And also, looking at this, the NCAA Division I football transfer portal spring window, it opens on April 16th and it closes April 25th. It's only a 10-day window.
Right, that's next week. Is that next week?
Enter the transfer portal unless you're that's next week. Unless you're a grad transfer, you only have that amount of time to enter into the transfer portal.
Well,
there's also a winter window, December 9th. Oh no, there was also a window that opened from December 9th to December 28th, right after the conclusion of the season, right around bowl game time. So unless you are a grad transfer or your coach leaves your program, you really only have a little bit of time to get in there and get out. So to that point, when I see that he's very very strict about, look, are you coming or not? We want you. Do you want to come? Do you want to win? Are you ready to become a part of a program? So to that, I can understand it. The other thing that I would have to say is it's rough in the SWAC, Mr. Ford. It is rough in the SWAC.
But I just think that we got an opportunity to bring in some outstanding talent into the SWAC. I like that number. I listen, if they would just do that due diligence. I've had too many high school coaches in the last 4 years to tell me that Dion showed the people in the HBCU world, how to recruit. And that they felt that, he said 40, 40, 20, 40% transfer portal, 40% junior college, 20% high school. And I had a lot of high school coaches who agreed with that. And they were astounded by the fact that the rest of the SWAC didn't follow that. Okay. And so I think, if you look at what was it, the last 2 years of Willie Simmons at FAMU, he followed that. Remember? He went in and loaded up on transfer portal players, and those guys led him to a Black College National Championship. And so that's why I'm so excited about that transfer portal. Now, I'm not excited about this whole thing of playoffs, like this Quay Davis kid, okay? How many schools has he been to? How many schools has Quay Davis been to?
He went to Jackson State.
He went to Jackson State. Then he went to Texas Southern.
Transfer portal and entered in Texas Southern.
What about FAMU? Did he go to FAMU?
He got recruited and he got an offer from FAMU, and then he
went to Southern, right?
Southern.
Okay, that's foolishness. I don't like that. No, I mean, come on now. 4 schools, that means you have a school every year. That don't make no sense.
You see what happened with him?
Was it some domestic violence or something?
Yeah, he's done.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done.
Was this in Southern? Was it in Baton Rouge or in Houston? Where was this?
It was in Oklahoma, I want to say. Somewhere in Oklahoma.
What was he doing? Was it at another school?
No, he was following his little lady friend, I guess, from Southern.
Okay.
Girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, but I don't like that. 4 schools in 4
Jay
years.
Jay said he's transferring to the state pen now. That's a wrap for him. It says that he's going to be going to the state penitentiary now. He'll be on the prison team now.
Okay.
He got recruited to go to the football 5 prison.
Mm.
Wide receiver, no Diddy. He gonna be a wide receiver, no Diddy.
Yeah. But anyway, listen, we got an opportunity to bring in some outstanding talent. We got outstanding talent. We can bring in more. We can bring in more. And I'm gonna tell you something I think is gonna be active. The guy at Alabama A&M, Sam Shade, I think he's gonna be active. I
You
think
think
he's gonna.
Sam? Well, I
Yeah.
want to pull this up for you because
Okay.
some folks might be looking, and it's interesting. They got some big boys, boy. I'm talking about big, and it might be something that folks need to look at.
Now is this Alabama A&M?
No, this is the Limestone Saints.
Oh yeah, they're discontinuing that program, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at some of they folks. 6'7", 319 pounds, offensive lineman from Lithonia, Georgia.
Ooh, what high
6'8".
school? What high school?
He's a graduate student. He
Okay,
comes from the
okay.
University of West Georgia.
Oh yeah,
It just
yeah,
says
yeah.
Lithonia, Georgia.
Okay.
Owen Spell is 6'8", 310 pounds from Jessup, Georgia.
I know that's over in the
Wayne
Bronx.
County High School.
You remember Lindsey Scott? Do you remember Lindsey Scott? Played for University of Georgia, New Orleans Saints. You remember him?
No.
Okay, he was from Jessup, Georgia, played for Wayne County High School. He made one of the greatest plays in UGA's history. He caught a pass from a guy named Buck Ballou, and they went on to win the national championship. They were led by a freshman by the name of Herschel Walker. You remember Herschel Walker?
I do remember Herschel.
Herschel
He's
Walker,
got
yeah.
TE. They put him up front to
Right.
win for
He's
versus
the
the
ambassador
Georgia.
is he the ambassador to the Bahamas? What is he now? Huh?
I didn't know they gave him a
Just put his name in. I think he's ambassador to the Bahamas. Herschel Walker. Put that in right quick. See what it says.
All right. So if y'all are looking for some offensive linemen,
Yeah, definitely.
y'all go get them from the
And by the way,
line.
Mr. Mona, I heard the Florida A&M's offensive line is humongous. I heard it. Oh, they said it's a big offensive line.
They said it was big.
Oh man, yeah. They said
always guessing it. Have they updated their spring roster yet? They lost one of their quarterbacks after making fun of our court. We had, of course, Zy McDonald had left a while back.
Right.
That comes as no surprise. But also we had our other quarterback, Cameron McCoy, who was also playing baseball.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
He went into the transfer portal.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And FAMU's Lee went into the transfer portal.
Who was that? What's his name?
His name for you. Let me get his name for you so I can say it correctly.
Okay, what was his name?
Quan Lee. Number 21.
He's a wide receiver. Yeah, I remember him.
Well, he went into the transfer portal.
Well, listen. Now the word is that they very fast in that wide receiver room. Now that's what I was told. I was told the FAMU's very fast in that wide receiver room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, they had to make room.
Yeah, supposedly now they I don't know if it's like Jackson's wide receiver room, but now I was told that
it ain't like Jackson State wide receiver.
But I was told that the room is real fast. That the room is real fast. Now my assistant principal, they went to the Orange and Green game, and she said the defense is fire, and it's got depth and all that. But she says the main thing at FAMU once again is that quarterback situation. Okay, that's everything for them. Is who can lead them at the quarterback position.
See, that's the thing. I wasn't trying to be a hater or anything, but I was just saying, like, when you have a solidified quarterback and you get to have him for 2 years straight, you are able to really develop your offense. because you already know what to expect from your quarterback. You know how he moves, you know his strengths and his weaknesses, and you're able to build your offensive line up. You know, getting a new quarterback every year, like at some point, you have to get a quarterback. If you're going to get a transfer portal quarterback, that he needs to have at least 2 years.
Yeah. So listen, the report I got was that the backs are small at FAM. Backs are small. Okay. Wide receiver room is really fast. Offensive line really big. But the total question mark is at that quarterback position. Everything is a question mark.
That is the biggest piece of the pie, is the quarterback.
And somebody, hey, Dr. Carrot, I was told that Junior didn't even dress. Are you talking about Junior Maritovich? I heard he didn't even dress for the game.
Is he injured?
I don't know. You know, we got to get some. And by the way, where's Mr. Campbell?
Why do you keep asking about that man?
I'm wondering, is he a POW? What's going on with him? Maybe you can ask him.
He says he's a prisoner of war. What war,
Yeah.
Mr. Ford?
I don't know. I was just wondering what happened to him. Because he used to be on your show. You know, he'd let you know wasn't he paying you or something? Wasn't he financing you?
No, he was not paying me. Absolutely not.
I was wondering. What was he financing your show or something?
No, he was not financing my show.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Lord.
So you come on here real loud and arrogant.
No.
Yeah. Oh
God, Mr. Ford, you cracked me up so bad.
Right.
We got another topic, Mr. Ford. So
okay, what we got?
Need some offensive linemen. Limestone, Prairie View, Valley. We got our offensive line. I mean, we'll take a 6'8" offensive lineman. Don't get me wrong, but go to the Limestone website, and you know, y'all bring some of them big boys over here.
Yeah. I mean, let me ask you: Is Limestone? Is that South Carolina or North Carolina? Where is that? I've heard of it.
I have never heard of it, so that's why
I've heard of it. Look it up. Is it South Carolina or North Carolina?
It said Limestone University is an NCAA Division II school. It competes in the South Atlantic Conference, and they're in Gaffney, South Carolina. Oh, they got them big boys.
Listen, there's some athletes up there in Gaffney. There's some athletes up there. I've been to Gaffney. Oh yeah. Hampton University used to recruit Gaffney really heavy.
Well, we need to be recruiting. That's South Carolina, y'all.
Well, let me say this about y'all. You know, Jackson lately has gotten some really good players out of South Carolina. Y'all done a good job of getting some good players out of South Carolina. You really have.
Absolutely. South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Mississippi.
But I know South Carolina's been good to Jackson. Because really, you ran over. You ran over South Carolina State with one of their boys. That's Irv Mulligan, right? Wasn't it Irv Mulligan? You okay? Right, you ran over South Carolina State with one of their own boys.
They couldn't do nothing with us.
Yeah.
You
South
say,
Carolina's been good
you beat the shit out them boys.
Yeah, y'all did it to them, man. You know what? I tell you what. I'm waiting to see him too. I want to see how Coach Barry responds. You know. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Ford. So the NCAA made changes to injury timeouts, and they approved it in football.
Right.
So this is a public service announcement. I'm going to call out 2 teams. I'm joking, but I'm serious. And that is South Carolina State. Baby, they was falling out like the Holy Spirit had hit them. and then they pop right back up. Alabama State, every time they play Jackson State, they be falling out like they done hit, like the Holy Ghost done hit them.
Right.
And then they pop right back up. So folks got tired of these kids falling out and then getting right back up and playing in the same drive. So the NCAA says the playing rules oversight panel on Wednesday approved modifications to the injury timeout rules in football beginning with the 2005-2026 season. Under the new rule, if medical personnel enters the field to evaluate an injured player after the ball is spotted by the officiating crew for the next play, that player's team will be charged a timeout. Damn.
Ooh.
That sounds like a little harsh, don't it?
Well, let me tell you something about the NCAA. When they're making money, they don't like no interruptions. And they saw that because basically it was a tactic to slow down these high-powered offenses. You know, you remember these offenses trying to run 100, 120 plays. You burn out a defense like that. So that's when the guys will fall on the ground and pretend they was hurt. But now that's going to stop some things right there now. That's going to stop some stuff right there. If they were trying to slow down them high-powered offenses.
I know there's a couple of times where we would get it going and then.
Yeah. And people would fall out and all of that. But, man, you're going to
be. And then they'll be right back up again.
Yeah. Yeah. But let me tell you something. When them people making money, they don't like no stoppage, you know.
So then here's the kicker. If they run out of timeouts, they don't have any remaining timeouts, a 5-yard delay of game penalty will be assessed.
Ooh.
Yes, Mr. Ford. They ain't playing with these folks.
No, they ain't playing, baby.
The injury timeout proposal was made by the NCAA Football Rules Committee after many in the college football community raised concerns about strategies in which players fake an injury to stop the opposition's momentum or to avoid using an allotted timeout.
Yeah, they had it on film. I mean, you could see it on film. People would, get big gain and then a guy fall out, They're trying to stop them offenses.
So this has been a topic of discussion for the NCAA Football Rules Committee in recent years. Before the 2021 season, a framework was instituted that allows a school or conference to request a post-game video review headed by Steve Shaw, the NCAA Secretary Rules Editor, National Coordinator of Officials, regarding questionable actions involving injuries. If it was determined that a player faked an injury to manipulate the rules, the offending team's conference was notified and any possible disciplinary actions could be made by the conference office. The impetus for the rule change next season is to provide an in-game mechanism that can curtail the faking of injuries, because Football Rules Committee members think these actions negatively affect the overall perception of the game.
Yeah.
Some other rules that they approved were overtime timeouts. So the panel also approved a rule change regarding overtime timeouts. If a game reaches a third overtime, each team will have one timeout, beginning with the third overtime until a winner is determined. Previously, teams were only allotted one timeout for each overtime period. At the start of the third overtime, teams alternate running 2-point plays until a winner is decided. Football Rules Committee members want to keep the action moving once a game reaches a third extra period.
Right, they want to get it over with.
So another couple of things that they did was when the decision on instant replay is announced, the referee will only say that the call on the field is upheld or overturned. The terms confirmed and stands will not be used. No offensive player can be the direct line of the snap to the potential kicker or within the frame of the snap or punts for the formation to qualify as a scrimmage kick formation. If a team is not in scrimmage kick formation, it must have 5 players numbered 50 through 79 on the line of scrimmage. Additionally, if the snapper is on the end of the line by formation, the snapper will lose scrimmage kick protection and the opposition can line a player over the snapper. If any player on a kickoff return team makes a T signal with his arms during the kick, the team gives up the right to return the kick and the play will be whistled dead. Wow.
It's good stuff. All that sounds like good stuff to me.
Another one is there's an enhanced rule regarding simulating action at the snap and words or signals that distract opponents when they are preparing to put the ball in play will also be effective next season. No player can call defensive signals that simulate the sound or cadence of the offensive signals. The defensive terms move and stem would be reserved for players on the side of the ball and could not be used by the offense. They don't have a whole bunch of new rules. And
but let me say this. Mr. Moan, one of the things they got to do is that, TV's giving them a 2 hour to a 2.5 hour stint. They can't have all that stoppage. They trying to get them games over with. You see what I'm saying? And I can see why they're making these rules.
They said the SWAC comes up with their own damn rules. Good luck with getting
but
these.
Let me say this, y'all. Let me say this. SWAC officiating is better than it was, say, 3 to 4 years ago. It's better. Because when Dion and them first came into the league and they was getting the SWAC all that attention, the officiating was just horrible. It was
that
it
bad?
has gotten better.
Bad?
Yeah, it was bad. It was horrible. And I see somebody tried to compare the MEAC. No, MEAC officiating is better than SWAC officiating. Now, I'm just saying, listen, it's gotten better. SWAC officiating has gotten better.
They said that's not saying much, Mr. Ford. That
But listen. The MEAC had that problem about 10, 15 years ago. And what they did was they got rid of a lot of their officials, and then they went and got a lot of high school officials, and the officiating just was better overnight. It was better. And I'm just telling y'all, 4 years ago, SWAC officiating was just awful. It was awful, but it's gotten so much better. It's gotten better.
So now I wanted to do some transfer portal updates.
Okay.
Because you asked about a couple of players from Jackson State's team, and they actually entered the transfer portal, Mr. Ford. So Rico Powers entered the transfer portal.
I'm not surprised at that.
And Fabian McCray entered the transfer portal.
Because let me tell you, they weren't going to start. Listen, when they went out, it was next man up, and I'm going to be honest with you, they weren't missed. They weren't missed. And so I'm not surprised at Rico and Fabian Lee.
I think that, in terms of solidifying, like, you getting a chance, right? You get a chance to basically earn your spot. I really think that Jonas Fertillion, Isaiah Spencer,
them guys are
Emil Gardner.
Well, that Fertillion and that Spencer guy, them guys, they should be getting them guys ready to go to the NFL. Them guys got that kind of talent, especially that Fertillion, that big old, the 6'5" guy. That guy put on a show in the Celebration Bowl. Nobody could match up with it. He put on a show. Mm-hmm. Then that Spencer kid, I thought, and Spencer's young. He's young.
And so, those, they entered into the transfer portal. And, we've had 4 people enter into transfer portal as of yesterday. Cornerback Sadiq Thompson, quarterback Cameron McCoy, which Cam has been, he wasn't practicing during spring that I know of. I know that he was supposed to be on the baseball team, but he wasn't. I think he went during the that big game versus Prairie View. There was a big fight, and I don't know how much he played since that particular fight. Quarterback Tyreek Starks, he entered the transfer portal on April 9th. He did just sign to play at Jackson State in February.
Okay. The kid Starks, where did he come from? What's his hometown?
Came from Florida Atlantic. Let me see.
Oh yeah, that's right. I know it. I'm sorry. I know just who you're talking about.
He's a
yeah, he could play.
Upperclassman. Yeah, he's an upperclassman.
Yeah.
He played for the Florida Atlantic quarterback.
I remember him. House. He played for Tom. I think he played for Tom Herman.
Yeah, so he he entered, which of course, when you have a Celebration Bowl caliber quarterback who wins
Right.
MVP of the Celebration Bowl,
Mhm.
and you're wanting to start, it's going to be hard to, compete against that, right? I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can come in and try to take the spot, but I think that he wants to start where he plays.
Mhm.
Ruben said, "Fam, you got another piece coming in tomorrow."
Hey, bro,
Allegedly.
Ruben, what you know? What position? What position is?
What position is it? I ain't seen nothing. Who they bringing in? Are they soft in the middle?
No, I heard they not soft in the middle no more.
They
No,
ain't soft in the middle no
I
more.
know, and they got depth. No, they said the defense is way ahead of the offense. Yeah, no, that's off in the middle stuff. And by the way, you know your friend Cozy is gonna be the play caller this year. We talked
So they
about that.
did get a 6'3", 285-pound offensive lineman from Coffeyville Community College.
Yeah, I've heard of Coffeyville. Yeah.
Trentarius, his name is Simba. Wow, there's when away. Hey, he said my name is Simba.
Okay.
Okay, Simba. We're gonna
All
see what
right.
you're working with.
Oh yeah.
6'3", 285 pounds. We're gonna see. I want to know who's been committing at Purview for him to be, because he's talking big boy talk, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, they said he was Blue said he was rated number 8 as far as transfer portal pickups. He was number 8, I guess, in FCS.
Okay, so he might know a little something.
Yeah,
He might know a little
he's
something.
I'm like one of the guys. I can't wait to see them boys, man. I can't wait to see them boys next fall. I'm ready. They haven't put out the TV schedule yet because I know Jackson's gonna have every game televised. Jackson, FAM, who else? You think that
Fam lost to Valley. They ain't gonna have every game televised.
they
When you
gonna have,
lose to a team
what you
like
think about
Valley,
Southern?
you get put in timeout.
How about
When you
Southern?
lose to Valley,
But listen, how many games you think Southern will get televised?
oh, they were they'll get,
What you think about 6?
the
7?
yeah. Well, see, I think we're all under ESPN, so I don't the HBCU Go schedule comes out too.
Yeah, has it come out?
No, not yet, but
Okay.
usually what happens is when they don't pick it up, then they end up
Because now Jackson
televising.
Southern's gonna be televised. You know that's nationally televised. Jackson
That's
Southern.
always, yes, they
Right,
need
that's gonna be televised. Okay, I'm thinking that big game is gonna be that Southern Prairie View game, homecoming. I know that's gonna be a big time game.
they stay fighting at those games. Good Lord.
Yeah, I don't see HBCU go getting that game. I don't
All
see them
right,
getting that.
so I got some footage for you at the Prairie View spring game. Look, he has re-energized the Prairie View faithful, right?
Oh
They
yeah,
really
without a doubt.
are very excited about this.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
They always claim that Prairie View only got 3 fans, but I saw way more than 3 fans at that spring game. They are
I
ready
do too.
to rock. I want to see. Let me see if I can see who did they get? Let's look at their on 3.
Mm.
Dang, we're in 2025. So let's see who they got over here.
Prairie
Okay.
View Panthers, baby.
Let me tell you who they got in here. So this is 2025. The Prairie View transfer portal. This is alleged
Right.
on who they have right now. Let me pull it up. Let me go to 247. See what they're working with. So this is the thing with us, like in terms of building a program, like you said, you can't build that overnight. It's going to take a couple of good recruiting cycles, but also you got to keep the actual whatever you bring in, you have to retain it so that you're able to build off of it.
That's right.
Only thing, if you're not able to build off of it, let's see if I can find it. Team football transfer rankings. So for us, we didn't you're not going to see us transferring in as many, right? Because our team is already built. So at this point, it's just kind of like plug and play at this point. I'm gonna see if I can find Prairie View on here. Bowling Green, they done bought in 14 commits. They had 81.
Yeah, that's Eddie George, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't see him. Norfolk State and Delaware State coming in at 135.
Okay.
Ahead of anybody from the SWAC. Let's see. Look at Bethune-Cookman at 140.
But they do that every year.
Well, what be happening, Mr. Ford?
What's his name? Raymond Woody got to go. He got to go. He got to go.
I'm looking for Prairie View and I don't see them. Where they at? They must not.
Yeah. You see blue in it. You see blue in the chat?
Oh wait, no. Let me see.
Blue said Prairie View has the number 8 transfer portal class in FCS.
JSU and Norfolk were the only HBCUs ahead of them. Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm looking for them. Prairie.
Oh, and by the way, Mr. Mona, Willie Simmons was at the Orange and Green games last Saturday.
Mr. Ford, what do you think about that? What?
He was there.
Orange and Green game?
Yeah.
Why is he there?
Well, I mean, that's his whole team, but he was there. He was there.
You got to keep that same energy, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, he was there. He was at the Orange and Green game.
Oh, we need to keep that same energy. He's poaching, or he's just.
No, I think he was just as a spectator.
Poaching players.
No, I don't think he was poaching.
Well, I would be hot as fish grease. How dare you come over here after leaving us? He said, y'all gonna miss me a little when I'm gone. He's over there wanting folks to reminisce. When you just start forgetting about somebody. They sent you that, like if you're in a relationship and you guys stop talking and then, you're just now getting over it. You're getting over the breakup and then here they come popping up.
Yeah, well, he was there. He was at the Orange and Green game.
I would be mad as hell. What you doing over here? What you coming over here to check us out for? You supposed to be coaching this.
And I'm quite sure you heard about the situation in Florida State today, right?
Well, I was driving from the beach with Braxton, so I didn't stay abreast. I know I did see that FAMU said at first that they weren't going to close the campus and then they shut the campus down, but I didn't really understand what transpired other than there was a alleged shooter on campus.
Yeah, I think 2 people died, maybe 5 or 6 injured. That was what I heard coming home from school today.
Condolences to those students and to
Yeah,
prayers to the Florida
that's right.
State community. I will
Yeah,
say this: if it was a FAMU shooter, we would be having a different conversation, right?
yeah.
The optics of it. But prayers to them.
Oh yeah.
Um, so okay, he's got a 3-star Jacoby Banks, wide receiver, 5'9", 178 pounds. Michael Ray Jr. is a safety, and he's a 2-star. He's
Now who is this?
transferring in Michael Ray Jr.
No, I'm saying what school is this?
Oh, this is Purview.
Okay, Prairie View. Okay, okay.
This is incoming. There's not a lot here
Right.
because Blue says they don't update like they're supposed to.
Oh, okay.
But so the Jacoby Banks is a Memphis transfer. Michael
Okay.
Rainey Jr. is a UTEP transfer.
Mm.
Tulane tight end, 6'3", 220 pounds, Joshua Goins. Linebacker from North Texas. He's a 3-star out of high school. He was a 3-star. 6 foot, 233 pounds. Tayshawn Wilson was a 3-star cornerback coming out of high school, and he's from Baylor University.
Okay.
So it looks like, they're getting some players.
Oh yeah, that's just the beginning.
They said that he has a ULM transfer, 3-star transfer, Traver Randall, 5'9", 197 pounds. He's a safety from ULM. Tayshawn Wilson is from Houston, Texas. A redshirt freshman from Baylor.
You see what Blue said right there? Did you see that? Did you see what Blue said?
They've added 15 D1
15
transfers as of today between both
yeah.
portal windows. Damn.
Okay.
So it looks like his rules of engagement are working.
He's loading up. This guy's loading up.
He's like, if I message you, you better message me back.
Yeah. This guy loading up.
They send in their highlight tape, and he's about his business. They only have 4 hours to communicate with him. If I follow you, you better follow me back.
Well, let me just say this, Mr. Mona.
Unfollow him because he's
Mr. Mona, what more could you ask for? You're only 30 miles from Houston or 40 miles from Houston? What is that? Hey, somebody, how far is Prairie View from Houston?
45 minutes, Mr. Ford.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, that's just the beginning. Because Texas has about what is the population of the state of Texas? Isn't it 30 million? What
is Texas Southern doing and they in Houston?
They ain't doing what this guy doing. And by the way, what's the population of the state of Texas? Because these folk ain't got to go outside the state. What's the population? Look that up, Miss Timon. What's the population of the state of Texas?
Hey Siri, what's the population of the state of Texas? 31.2 million.
Okay, so listen. Yeah, you right, bro. Ruben. But I'm gonna tell you something. This man getting ready to do something out there. This is something the question we've been asking for years, Mr. Mona. What would the SWAC look like with 2 perennial powers in Texas? With Prairie View being able to win 9 and 10 games a year, with Texas Southern being able to win 9 and 10 games a year. What does that mean for the SWAC? Brother, you got a point there. You're right. Resilient, you right. Yeah. But I'm just saying, to have 2
They're saying
football
is not a football school.
Yeah, they're saying Texas Southern's not a football school. Because now you know the history of Prairie View in football, right? You know about that.
I know that they lost 80 games straight.
Yeah, but they also had a guy named Billy Nix there who was dominant in black college football, I think 40s, 50s, 60s, midway through the 60s. Listen, ain't nothing new under the sun. These people want to go back to the Billy Nix days.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Shador Sanders clarified his statement, and
What?
so I
What?
need to go
What?
ahead and pull that up for you.
Yeah. What was the statement?
Let me pull that up for you. He
Okay.
clarified his statement regarding
Jackson
the
State.
history of
Oh,
Jackson.
Jackson State. Good.
So
About
I'm gonna
there.
pull that up for you.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hear it.
It wouldn't make sense for me to be messy and pull up what he said and then
Hmm.
not pull up when he clarified. So let me pull that up for you.
Okay.
Being able to establish what we have been able to do at Jackson State and at Colorado, extremely incredible. Hey, look, and this one thing I want to clear up. What I was saying when I was saying like Colorado and Jackson State don't have a winning history, I was referring to in the last couple of years. I wasn't saying like the history of the whole program never won. Like I was never trying to intend things on being said that. So I could have said that cleaner and more precise, I would say,
Okay.
but that's what I want to emphasize. I wasn't saying the history of the organization never had it. I was meaning what I was meaning was like in the last recent years. Like a
Right.
lot of these
Okay.
franchises have won, of course, in the past, and they have did what they were supposed to do, but in the most recent years, it hasn't been the product they was looking for as of Colorado and Jackson State. Before we got there in the last couple years, the product wasn't there and the production wasn't there. So that was just one thing I wanted to clear up because it wasn't like I was trying to ever disrespect what the past players and the legends of each university did and the teams that work hard and was able to establish that program in the past, but I was saying more in like the recent years. Things we're able to, remember.
I think the real ones knew where you were coming from and knew what you meant, right? But is it frustrating to
Yeah,
you?
but the thing is, I got to take self accountability with that. That I got to be more clear and decisive on exactly the words that I'm saying. So that's one thing. I could understand the perspectives of everything. So that's why I got to make sure moving forward and overall, I'm just more clear with everything that I say. Being able to establish.
So for me, I already had said, when we were talking about it, Mr. Ford, I said that
Hmm.
Shador meant recent history, but I
Hmm.
applaud him for coming back and clarifying it because
I do too.
even if
I
the
do too.
real ones knew what he meant, he's
Right.
on platform where there are
Hmm.
millions and millions of people who don't know about the Walter Payton, the Robert
And that y'all
Brazil,
got 4
the Jimmy
NFL Hall
Smith,
of Famers and should have more.
Barney. Like, there's a lot of folks who don't know the history of Jackson State, and they'll take that soundbite and run away with it.
Yeah.
So I applaud him for because, like I said, Shador has always, which I made that statement on Saturday or whenever we went over it, which is that Shador has always bigged up Jackson State when given an opportunity to, or basically said, I came from Jackson State, and so great of him to be able to clarify that. I'll say this probably on this particular platform that he's on, he's more comfortable, right? It's
Right.
not like he's feeling like he's under pressure or antagonized. So I
Right.
feel like that's probably why he waited to make this statement, is when he's on a platform that he feels more comfortable with, which his daddy is kind of, in that sense, he isolates himself on what type of questions he's asked and who is the one asking the questions. But Shador is going under, as all folks do. They're going to ask you some crazy questions. I remember someone telling me that the NFL will ask you a crazy ass question to see what your reaction is.
Oh yeah, they do that. Yeah.
Like, what
Yeah.
will you do if one of your teammates, you find out that they're screwing your mom? It's like, wait a minute, is this an interview question? And it's literally a interview question that they're asking these young men to see how they react,
Yeah.
to see are they able to contain their emotions.
Yeah. I mean, if you're serious, you putting millions of dollars behind these people, you need to know their character. You need to know. I mean, they super. They running 4.21s, 4.3s, and all of that. But what's in their brain? You know.
Right.
You got to know about the character. But now, one thing I want these people to stop doing too. Would you stop compare Shador to Steve McNair? Could we stop doing that?
That?
Yeah, there's some people trying to compare him to Steve McNair, and really, let's stop doing that. Okay, let's stop
I
doing that.
haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've heard it.
I
Let's
feel
stop
like
doing that.
Shador is and until he goes to the NFL and they prove me wrong, I just feel like Shador mirrors his play after Tom Brady, that he's an intellectual quarterback. The things that he was great at in the SWAC, it translated to Colorado, which of course is those pre-snap reads.
Yeah.
The things that were bad in the SWAC in terms of holding on to the ball too long, those are the same things that happen in Colorado. Like Shador is Shador, but I feel like his pre-snap reads and his ball placement, those aren't things that are teachable. Either you have it or you don't. A lot of quarterbacks have the athleticism, but the ability to make those adjustments, I feel like that's something that's great to add to an NFL team.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, I don't know what's taking the NFL so long. Steve McNair should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Okay, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't really think we should be even having a conversation as if there's some comparison between Shador and Steve McNair. Okay, we need to let that alone. But the bigger issue is that I don't understand why Steve McNair is not in the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. And so I'm gonna make, this call to them people at Alcorn. Okay, you need to put a letter together. You need to send your people up to them people in Canton and let them know there needs to be a bus made of Steve McNair, and it needs to be put into that Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Okay, let's stop playing with that. Okay, it's time for Steve McNair to be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Lord have mercy. Do you think it's political?
I don't care. I just want it done. I want Steve McNair in the NFL. And somebody's right. Jimmy Smith and Coach Harold Jackson should be in the Hall of Fame. Okay. And no ifs, ands, and buts. They should be in. Listen,
I
I was
think
a
that they're
kid.
not doing it because then I want to say we already are above. So first of all, in the state of Mississippi, I want to say Ole Miss, Mississippi State, no other teams in the state of Mississippi have more Hall of Famers. But I want to say if you add that fifth one to Jackson State, then they're going to be probably in the top 10 in the nation for Hall of Famers, or maybe top 20. So maybe that's why.
But it's the right thing to do. Okay, what I was going to get ready to take. Listen, I remember a point in my life watching Harold Jackson as a part of the Los Angeles Rams. No one could match up with him. No one.
Nobody, Mr. Ford?
No, nobody. It was he started out.
Nobody.
That's right. He started out with John Hadle, and then he played with Shaq Harris, the quarterback from Grambling. And I think he played with Ron Jaworski. But listen, it's overdue. Harold Jackson should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Jimmy Smith should be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Okay? And we got to do what we got to do. And by the way, did they ever put Otis Taylor in the Hall of Fame yet? He was from Prairie View. Did they ever put him in the Hall of Fame?
The way this country is going, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, but we can do this. We can get this done.
Better hurry up and get it done.
Yeah, we got to get it done.
Or they try to erase that history.
Well, they tried to erase Jackie Robinson. I think they did put it back, right?
Yeah, they put it back.
They put it
But
back.
that was messed up.
Yeah. Well, that's what's happening in DC right now. Everything's messed up.
Mm, well, Mr. Ford, I think we covered everything.
Hey, listen. Tomorrow's Friday. Got to get ready for the kids, and then we get a little weekend. Weather was
Yes.
beautiful here today.
Oh my goodness, the weather was so nice. I took Braxton to the beach for spring break so he could just run around on the beach and play in the ocean, and I was able to keep my hair straight.
Listen.
there wasn't that much humidity out
Oh,
there.
yeah. Hey,
So
when have you talked to the commissioner of the SWAC? Have you talked to him lately?
no, what am I supposed to be talking to Commissioner McClellan about? Oh, I forgot to announce the winners.
He likes talking to you. You could put some things, put some things in his head.
Now, what do you want to change, Mr. Ford?
Let's see. I really like that idea of Jackson State playing in Las Vegas. And I was thinking if we could get a SWAC game in how about Indianapolis? Could we get a SWAC game in Indianapolis?
No, who's in Indianapolis?
You know that
they were saying the John Merritt Classic should be between Tennessee State and Jackson State since he went to Jackson State and Tennessee State.
Oh,
I heard that.
I like, but I'm thinking about maybe a SWAC, a big time SWAC game at the isn't that called a Circle City Classic? What's that called?
Oh, okay, yeah, the Circle City Classic.
Because the first one was Mississippi Valley versus Grambling. It was Jerry Rice's senior year.
So a lot of times the problem with some of these classics whenever they start is that they aren't willing to get the money right. You gotta get the money right. You can't, you're not gonna be wasting our grass playing some mediocre teams. Hampton and Jackson State was supposed to be in Chicago.
That's going to be big. That's going to be big in Jackson.
It's going to be big in Jackson, but it was going to be bigger in Chicago. Because folks got to come with like what we doing. I love the Grambling versus Jackson State in Vegas. I think that's going to be a huge game.
I thought it was a great brainchild from your wonder boy, AD.
They're saying Hampton don't travel like that.
You know them. All them old MEAC folk don't travel. All them old MEAC people. I told you, I used to go to the Celebration Bowl, and Alcorn would have more people than North Carolina A&T. They would always have more people.
It says UAPB pulled out of the Circle City Classic this upcoming year would have been Morgan versus UAPB. And I think sometimes when you try to give these smaller schools the opportunity to be in these classics, sometimes to build up a classic, you need your bigger juggernauts to pull that weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna have to pay them. You're gonna have to pay more, and I think it's worth it. That Grambling versus Jackson State game, I think there's going to be upwards of 40,000.
How about? And I know they always say it's something about litigation as far as, but how about a SWAC, big time SWAC doubleheader here in Atlanta in the 1st of October?
Can't be in Atlanta, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, that's what I know. Because it is something about
ESPN done wrap that stuff up.
Right.
They said y'all not coming over here unless you coming over here with us. You can't be over here. I want to say it's like a certain amount of days before and a certain amount of days after. You have the SWAC MEAC challenge or the MEAC SWAC challenge, and then you have the Celebration Bowl. So it pretty much wraps it up for the whole season.
Yeah.
because I want to say it's 60 days after the MEAC SWAC challenge. It's some type of wording that would prevent us.
Yeah, I know it's
Because
some kind of
honestly,
litigation involved. Yeah, I know that.
Atlanta is definitely like the prime place for HBCU football, just because it's easy for everybody to get to. I liked Memphis. I really liked Memphis
Oh
for
yeah. Yeah, I did too. I got some friends here still mad about that. The fact that Memphis, well, they're Tennessee State grads, but they win every year. They still hot about it.
they
My
still
niece
mad.
is a junior at Tennessee State, and she says she says all the students blame Deion Sanders. They hate Deion Sanders because he killed.
Why are they hating him?
Because he
You
said that was the biggest game, at Tennessee State for years, was Tennessee State versus Jackson State and Memphis. That's the only
even
game. That was the
Tennessee,
biggest game.
even Tennessee State had to pull out because the money wasn't right.
Yeah, but they blame. I mean, they blame Deion Sanders for some reason. They think it was they hate him.
Dang, not them blaming Dion for not.
Yeah.
Oh, I have one more thing. I just remembered. I'm gonna pull it up. I had almost forgot. So, Mr. Ford,
Uh-huh.
Not Jackson State. I'm sorry. FAMU's coach went to Grambling.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I was making subliminals on the internet in terms of who would be the replacement.
Right.
So now the reports are Charlie Ward is going to be taking over that program.
Oh yeah.
At FAMU.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I wanted to hear your thoughts on it because they released the contract and the starting rate for that particular job is $175,000.
Okay. Well, let me say this.
That's just 5,000. Just 5,000 more than what they were offering. The former coach, who's actually has a proven record at the D2 level, he has a proven winning college record. So they basically they let his contract out, and because of that sunshine law, you can just be in everybody's business. I wasn't really in anybody's business, but I did see that one of the journalist that covers a lot of FAMU stuff, she released his contract and said that he's going to get paid $175,000 for the first year.
Okay. Well, let me say this first and foremost. Okay. My parents knew his father. His father was a big-time high school coach at a school in Thomasville, Georgia, called Magnolia High School. This was in the late 60s. Okay. So, I got connections with him. He's 2 years or 1 year younger than my sister. My sister saw him as a football player and as a high school basketball player. She thought he was the truth. Okay. So, saying all of that, I'm hoping that he's very successful. Like I said, my family knew his father. We thought he was an outstanding athlete when he was in high school, and then he went to Florida State. Remember, his dad played for Coach Jake Gaither with Bob Hayes. Remember Bob Hayes? You remember that name, Bob Hayes?
Yes, Mr. Ford.
Okay, so his dad played with Bob Hayes, was on some of the greatest Florida A&M football teams ever in the late 50s, early 60s. And so just to state it briefly, I'm just hoping that Charlie Ward Jr. will be ultra successful as the head basketball coach at Florida A&M. Okay? That's what I'm hoping for.
You're hoping for what?
I'm hoping that he's very successful as the head basketball coach at Florida A&M.
Because of the legacy, or
Yes. Yeah. Like I told you. Matter of fact, his dad actually spoke at one of my dad's cousin's funeral. Charlie Ward Sr. did. So, we got deep ties right there. This is nothing new. I knew who Charlie Ward Sr. was when I was maybe 8, 9 years old. I knew who he was. I didn't know the son, but I knew the dad. And by the way, do you remember Kofi? You remember Kofi Hemingway?
yeah.
Okay. Charlie Ward's dad, Charlie Ward Sr., introduced me to Dr. Hemingway in Thomasville, Georgia, at a Black History program. I knew about Dr. Hemingway, because I majored in history and I would go to the conventions. We had something called the National Conference of Black Political Scientists, and he would come and he would turn it out. And I knew about him, but I'd never met him. Well, Charlie Ward Sr. introduced me to him at a Black History program in Thomasville, Georgia.
Why'd they give him 5 years in Query, only 1 year? His father's a rattler?
Yeah, his father was a rattler.
That's why, Brianna. His father's a rattler.
His father's a rattler. His father played for Jake Gaither. His father played along with Bob Hayes and another guy by the name of Ron Paramore, who they called China Doll. He was out of Tallahassee. Okay? Remember, China Doll was out of Tallahassee. Ron Paramore, he went to the St. Louis Cardinals. Bob Hayes, I believe, was out of Jacksonville, Florida, and he went to the Dallas Cowboys.
Why they didn't put him on the football team? He won a 1993 Heisman Trophy. Why they didn't make him a quarterback coach? Shit. Maxwell Award, Davey O'Brien Award as a quarterback.
Yes. And remember, he won the Heisman, and they wouldn't allow him to come to the NFL.
What you mean they wouldn't allow him?
They wouldn't draft him.
Damn. He had 5,747 passing yards.
Oh, he was awesome.
Wait a minute. What you mean they wouldn't draft him?
They didn't draft him. He went listen. We can argue about that all night, but you know what that was about. But anyway, let me tell you
what it was about. I'm confused.
They didn't want no small black quarterback. Even though he was the truth, they wouldn't give him an opportunity. That's why I always tell you, if you give these players, especially these HBCU players, the opportunity, they usually make well of it. They didn't even give this guy an opportunity. He had to go to the Knicks. He had to go play basketball. They wouldn't give him an opportunity.
I just saw it. I was like, well, damn, he got all this other stuff. You need to be on the football side, ain't it? You need to be quarterback coach or something.
Ms. Timona, let me just say this to you. When he was at Florida State, 2 Rattlers put together that offense that helped him to win the Heisman Trophy. One was named Big John Eastman. What was his name? He was the AD at what they call him. He was on the staff at the University of Georgia. He was the AD at Florida A&M. He was the one who chose Willie Simmons. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, but they need to be over here revitalizing.
Okay. But listen. Let me tell you this. Okay, when he was on the staff at Florida State, he and a guy by the name of Kent Schoolfield created and produced that, what they call the fast break offense. That offense was tailored for Charlie Ward Jr. Eventually, he wins the Heisman Trophy playing in that offense.
Ooh, they say he was a teammate of Cozy at Florida State.
He might have been. So
if he was a teammate, y'all, you gonna have to work in the off season. You need to be over there on the football side. They need some help.
Well, we're gonna see.
The chat said Rattler Smattler, JSU by 40. Heisman Trophy. What else did he win? Heisman
You
Trophy.
just said it. Davy O'Brien. He won a
Davy
national championship.
O'Brien.
He won a national championship.
National championship
Yeah.
for the Florida State Seminoles. He played in the New York Knicks for 9 years and started in the NBA Finals.
Played with Patrick Ewing. Yeah. Played with Patrick Ewing, John
Dang,
Stark.
that is a travesty that he didn't get to play in the NFL.
Well, that's how low down the powers to be are in the NFL.
Now some of the top quarterbacks in the NFL now are black quarterbacks. They can't.
They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. They got to play black quarterbacks. The defensive linemen are so fast today. You can't pocket pass. You got to be dual threat.
Checkout is at 11.
Oh yeah.
Checkout is at 11 for FAMU.
Oh yeah. I see you. Well, once again, let me met very well.
He said he was a better football. Willie Little said he's a better football player than he was a basketball player. He would have been.
That could be argued. Yeah, that might be true. That might be true, because he was really good at football, but he was good in basketball too. He was so heady. He didn't make no mistakes.
Oh,
very disciplined.
Just because you can ride in an airplane, that doesn't mean you can fly one. We're gonna see.
Oh yeah.
But I just remembered whenever I saw that he was making 175, I remember when Mr. Ford said, we got to stop paying these poverty wages.
Oh yeah, we got to do it.
But they said Charlie Ward, he don't need the money.
No, he's rich.
He doesn't need it.
Yeah, I just hope he does well. I'm hoping that he does well. I'm gonna say it again. I hope Willie Simmons does well. Hope he does well.
Yeah, but if you're gonna be at the orange and green game or green and orange game.
Yeah, he was there.
They said we saw that with Toes. Deion was a great NFL player, but a horrible coach.
But he won 2 SWAC championships, right? Did he win 2 SWAC championships? He lost 2 Celebration Bowls. He lost the Alamo Bowl. But did they win 9 or 10? How many games did they win this year at Colorado? Did they win 9 or 10?
Who? Overall?
Yeah, Colorado. That's right. You're right, Miss Willie. He's 0 for 3 in the bowl games. How many games did he win this year at Colorado? Did he win 9? Where's Blue? Blue, did he win 9? How many games he won? I think he won 9 games this year.
Ooh. Oh, they said 9.
9, yeah. He won 9 games. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, I got to get ready for those kids tomorrow. You have a good night. And now, will you be on Saturday?
I might be taking a break. I don't have Braxton. I might be taking.
Oh, so you taking a break Saturday?
Do you think something else is going to happen? I don't think so.
Something's always happening. Football is
year round. There's some more spring games.
Yeah, but with football, it's year round. Something's always happening. Something is always. And by the way, did you see that? What's his name? The guy that they pretend that's a superstar here in Atlanta. What's his name? Trey Young. What's his name? Trey Young. I'm wondering, is it about over with for him in Atlanta? Or are they gonna keep that horror show going? Did you see him get thrown out the game the other night?
Who got thrown out in the NBA?
In the playing game, he got thrown out the game. But I'm asking you, I didn't know if you knew about it, but I'm just
Trey Young. I didn't. Okay, so I was watching. What playoff did I watch? I want to say I was watching the Sacramento Kings play.
Yeah, was that yesterday.
Oh, this play is the Hawks in a nutshell. No matter who is put around Trey Young, his unwillingness and inability to play anything that looks like defense will never allow this organization to accomplish anything of substance.
Thank you. Who said that? That's amen. Who said that? Who said
Somebody
that?
on Twitter. Somebody on
Okay,
Twitter.
well, listen, whoever you said that, amen. Because, see, here's the thing about Trey Young. The guy who tricked Atlanta was a guy named Travis Slink. He came here as general manager. He told us a lie. He said that Trey Young was Curry 2.0. Okay,
I mean,
Curry was, hold on. Curry was a superstar. He was a winner, and he had won the NBA championship several times. Okay, here's the thing why that was a lie. Trey Young is not a winner. He's definitely not a superstar, and we ain't gonna never win no NBA championship with him. Okay, all right.
Trey Young's days are numbered in the ATL.
Let's
NBA
hope
guards are
so.
getting taller
Oh,
and have more
oh, I
length.
hope so. Because listen, we had a guard here that they traded him away. They traded him to New Orleans. He had come here from he came here
Oh,
from San Antonio.
they said that Willie Simmons, he spent more than 3 hours at the Capitol in Tallahassee, speaking out on why high school coaches in Florida deserve to be paid a fair wage. So that's
Okay.
why he stopped by the game.
Oh, okay. Well, I heard he
Basically,
was
he
there.
was already in Tally,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
said, "Let me go check in on my guys."
yeah. Well, I heard he was there. I heard he was at the game. Listen, you have a good night. Let me get on in this bed. Bye, Miss Whitley.
You going to bed?
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm
Ford
going to
said,
bed.
"I'm out."
I'm out. Have a great one now.
All right,
All right.
y'all. Well, let me show y'all this little I play too much. I know I do. I'm gonna show y'all this little thing that I did of Bethune Cookman Wildcats and the Jackson State Tigers. I found it on line and I think it's so funny and cute. It's cute. It's a cute little thing. Um like a little um video of the Wildcats versus Jackson State. Ooh, I can't. Let me see. There we go. This is a video of the Bethune Cookman Wildcats and Jackson State Tigers. There's the Wildcats. There's the Jackson State Tigers. They're Wildcats. Wildcats. The Jackson State Tigers. What them Wildcats gonna do? And he reevaluating his life. He don't want none of that. No. Look at Ruben. Ruben always gotta ruin something. Okay, Mr. National Geographic Ruben. Over there trying to be Mr. National Geographic over there. Just enjoy the joke. Mr. Ford and them not out for Good Friday. I know, right? My baby has been out since Friday and he does not go back to school until Monday. All right. What the hell is going on? Hey, RG. Hey, just nothing. We were just chopping it up, being messy, being messy. Well, it is a cat and it is wild. I know that's right, Thetis. There we go. All those cats. All them cats. Tuck tail when confronted by a tiger. I know that's right. Snow leopards are introverts. Jaguars too. Jaguars are introverts too. Hence why Southern been getting that ass whooped for the past 4 years and for the foreseeable future. Belt to ass. Yet they drafted Doug Fluter, who was shorter. Politics. Politics. Well, what do you guys think about that Charlie Ward hire? Okay, let me finish this. So, finishing up the question that I had was, does Coach Jackson's rules for the transfer portal athletes go overboard? 44% of you said yes. 28% said no. 16% of you said that these young men need discipline. And 12% said great, bulletin board material. Jags are much bigger and they get drug all the same. Lord have mercy. Jags ain't scared of tigers. Merlin, you should be. You know what? Merlin been talking a lot of mess on Facebook. I don't know what is up with him talking all that mess. So let's go over his folks. Because I don't know why he been talking so much stuff. First of all, you guys don't even have your roster up. The latest roster you guys have up is 2024. You don't have nothing else up. Where's your 2025 roster at, Merlin? You over here worried about Jackson State, and you don't even have a 2025 roster. Now, did you contact your AD and figure out why you do not have a 2025 football roster, Merlin? Yes. Lions are the only cat that can beat the tiger on his best day. What lion? I know you're not talking about the UAPB Lions. I don't think we have any more. All right. So Sutton, Jakelby Givens, gone. Horatio Johnson, gone. Who else is gone? Kendrick Rhymes, gone. Dylan, gone. Savian Tissette, gone. Noah Bonnin, gone. Is Noah still there or is he gone? I think he's gone. Anyway, y'all need to update your roster, Merlin. Sutton ain't got Whitley. Merlin be on Jackson State head all up on our roster page, looking at who's what and who does what and breaking it down. They must don't post commitment photos up at Southern no more. Let's do it by name. I bet you they got old boys up out of there though. They got Quay Davis' name up off of there quick. They went ahead and took him down. Joshua Griffin, gone. Y'all kicker's gone, ain't he? I want to say he's gone. So Southern, please don't do that. Merlin. Kelby coming back for another year? Stop worrying about SU, okay? Once the tables turn in football, keep this same energy. Not going to say it anymore to you JSU folks. Ruben, honestly, we really don't care. I'm just doing it because Merlin did it this past week. In Coach Graves, we trust. Don't that sound a lot when they said in Dooley we trust? Y'all use the same line, just replace it with a different coach. So they're all on Facebook posting our QBs but leaving, but where's their post? Sudden? They say that you need a new offensive coordinator. And what do you guys have to say about that?
How you gonna fix it? You done messed me up to tell this business. I done called the police because I'm doing a refund. A refund is due unto me. Don't feel like I just been abused out here today. God ain't pleased with this. You can't do the Saints like this. Boy, I don't even know if I'm gonna sit out here till the police come. I'm gonna sit out here till the police come. I'm doing a refund. Because I'm doing one to me.
Listen, I've seen a video this weekend. No, I want to say yesterday of Jackson State's defensive line getting some training. Boy, them quarterbacks better be ready to scramble. Them quarterbacks better be ready to scramble. It looked like straight belt to ass, just straight belt to ass. I'm gonna see if I can find a video for you. It don't look good for y'all. It looks like class is in session, and it didn't look too good for y'all. Let me see if I can find it. Training, getting some extra reps in, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it did not look too good for the SWAC. It looked like a whole lot of tackles for loss, a whole lot of forced fumbles. Let me see. BTA, belt to ass, Coach K. Let me see if I can find it for y'all. In case y'all were wondering, and there's a surprise that Jackson State has. I don't want to tell you guys what it is, but yeah, we're going to be really dominant for our defensive line. It's honestly, it's not fair. I'm getting ready to show you guys. Bull Trench Academy. Let's see. Yeah. Big dog status. Pretty much. Y'all see that? Gonna grab that quarterback. Grab the quarterback. Grab him. Grab him up. Y'all get ready to get snatched right on up. Look. Snatched right on up. I think that Jeremiah Williams will obviously be the preseason defensive player of the year, right? That's what I'm thinking. Just based off of his Celebration Bowl performance and all of his previous work, I'm thinking that this year the SWAC will definitely give us our just due in terms of the SWAC preseason players. Why would you give it back to Jacoby Givens again? Jacoby couldn't do nothing against Jackson State. Yep. We still have fans transfer letters if Sutton needs them. Yeah, so, we've already accepted one of them. They're under review. The reason why this particular application is under review is because they put FAMU and Jackson State in the same sentence. You really can't put Jackson State and FAMU in the same sentence in terms of, being a fan. So his application is under review right now. Yep. So, you can't be over here putting FAMU and Jackson State on the same application. You should have done 3 different applications, Ladarius. I ain't going to say your application is denied, but it's getting kind of sketchy. We thank you for applying, though. Many apply, but few are chosen. And our coach said that the train has already left the station and we're not taking any more tickets. Wait. Dang. Tell him to go be with them snakes since he's trying to choose. He said it's denied. Damn, you got denied based off of putting FAMU and Jackson State in the same sentence. JSU makes my skin itch. I'm done. Yo, skin itching. Better take some Zyrtec or some Benadryl because we getting ready to do what? Belt to ass. Ain't no real Jaguar will ever switch over to Jackson. Shit. Well, you keep getting your ass whooped by him, you do. All right, y'all. So I'm not going to promise that I'll be back on Saturday. I think I might take a break. But if I do, I'll post like early Saturday or on Friday that I'm coming for SWAC Saturday. Other than that, everybody, y'all be blessed. Have a great Easter Sunday. We got Easter on Sunday. We need to be going to church, not staying up all night talking about the stuff. Good night, Miss Shanetta. He's denied from Southern too. Damn. So he doesn't even get to come back to Southern. Southern said folks that apply to try to be with Jackson State. Mind you, Southern and FAMU have a rivalry too. They're not worried about FAMU though. They're only worried about Jackson State. Y'all have a blessed evening. Resurrection Sunday, of course. Easter. Be very blessed and highly faithful, fruitful. Good night.
I've had some weary days and some sleepless nights. But when I look around, and I think things over, all of my good days outweigh my bad days. clouds hang low. I can hardly see the road. I ask the question, Lord. Lord, why so much pain? But He knows one thing for me. Although my weary eyes, they can't see. So I'll just say, thank you, Lord. I won't complain. But He is so good to me. He's been good to me. More than this world I could ever be. He's been so good. But He knows one thing for me. Although my weary eyes, they can't see. So I'll just say, thank you, Lord.